Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Travel Confessions of a Cubicle Dweller. Okay, y'all, I have listened to the playback and it's a little muffled. I have no idea why. I'm doing the same setup using the same app that I always use. So, apologies in advance, guys. Yeah, so let's talk about it. I just came back from Vegas, y'all, and this is probably the quickest I've ever done a podcast. I think, wasn't it like 2 weeks ago? So are we on schedule, boys and girls, to do our podcast bi-monthly like I'm supposed to? So here's what I'm thinking, y'all. I think on days that we like recap a travel, there might not be a mantra, but listen, the mantra is always to live the best life that you can, right? So we'll just add it to that. And let me tell y'all, Vegas was a good time, guys. It's the PG version. But if you really know me in real life, it doesn't get any more than like PG in general. Okay, y'all, this app is giving me troubles. I apologize again for the sound. If it sounds a little wonky, you guys know I record straight to the app. Kind of really no edits unless it just gets really just kind of weird and wonky. But yeah, like I said, there's probably gonna be no mantra. Just rest of the week, live the best life you can live, guys. So that being said, does everything that happens in Vegas have to stay in Vegas? I've already said there's no mantra. Housekeeping, guys. I haven't said this in a while, but here goes. You can follow me at cubicle_dweller. I haven't put up everything from Vegas because I was out there trying to live my best life and be in the moment. So there might be a couple things, but not really a lot. Give me like a couple days, because when I got back home, I got back late Friday night. Kind of slept through most of Saturday. Did some little things on Sunday, but still didn't feel like getting on social media. I know. I'm a bad travel host. But cubicle_dweller is where it goes down. You guys know that. The link tree's there for the store. You'll see the dress for my ladies out there. The dress is really cute. I finally got a picture where you could like really see the whole entire dress. The last one was a bathroom selfie that I hate because I hate bathroom selfies. And so I have on my backpack and my crossbody, so you can't really see the dress. Right? I want you to see the dress. But I got a good picture of me in the dress. So boom. There's that. You guys know. Share, like, and subscribe to the podcast. It helps the algorithm. I'm trying to get back out there and bring you guys consistent content, be a little more consistent. I think I've got it. I think I've got some ideas. I've got I think some interesting things coming up soon. We'll see. So I know I didn't really do a recap of Cancun. Maybe I'll go back and do a recap of Cancun. But it was not as adventurous as Vegas. It rained like half of the time that I was there. So, I did a little shopping, stayed at the beach, that kind of thing. And let me just preface this by saying, boys and girls, that just because Cancun was not as adventurous as Vegas, it doesn't mean that I didn't have a good time. Part of the reason I wanted to go out there, I just wanted to lay out at the beach and look at the water. So, honestly, guys, that is what I did. So, without further ado, let's talk about my first time in Vegas, guys. So, this was my first time being a tourist in Vegas. So as you guys know, my brother lives about 2 hours from Vegas. So we have to fly into Vegas, then we drive like 2.5 hours to where he lives. So we never spend time in Vegas. We're just passing through Vegas. Now every once in a while, I'll stop and see the Venetian because y'all should know by now that I love Venice. So replica Venice is always a good time. It kind of reminds me of Venice, and I need to get myself over to Venice. Hopefully soon. Hopefully by the end of this year, guys. If not end of this year, definitely early next year. But so that's typically what we do. And then we hit the road, and then we head to Arizona. So this time, I said I'm going to spend a week in Vegas. Didn't even go visit my cute little niece, being 2 hours away. I literally did not even rent a car. I just like lived on the lam, took public transport or the bus shuttle at the hotel, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go in sequential order, my friends. We're gonna talk about it day by day. So the first day I get there was Monday. Of course, obviously I'm tired. Check into my hotel, take a extremely long nap. So by the time I wake up, it is dinner time. And this is my first day. I don't really feel like going too far. I looked at the dinner menu at the hotel, and I didn't like their dinner menu. I did not know they still were serving the lunch menu as well. Had I known that, I probably would have stayed at the hotel that night and just had dinner there. But I didn't. I hopped across the street. There's a little restaurant across the street, and I went there. So they seat me, guys, and apparently I'm seated next to a couple. I think they're on a date. Y'all, this has got to be the worst date in history. I don't know if they went out again or what. Let me tell y'all something. I'm a single girl, right? I like conversation from the other person, from the guy, right? That's fine. This boy just talked way too much. Now, mind you guys, the lady was soft-spoken. I could hear her when she spoke. I could not hear what she said, but most of the time that I was sitting there for dinner, he was doing the talking. He was very loud. He talked too much. He's very obnoxious. Then, child, at some point, he got up and demonstrated a football play or something, and I was like, holy smokes. I would probably say, I sat at this hotel, I sat at the restaurant probably 45 minutes to an hour. I would say 90% of the time that I was there, from the time I sat down to about probably 40 minutes in, he was talking. Then after that, I kind of heard her talk a little bit. I don't know, child. He should, I can't tell her what to do, but I wish I could have been like, sis, he ain't it, boo. So that is pretty much what happened on Monday. So Tuesday, guys, my intent was to go out and start seeing the city, but instead, I bought a timeshare. Look, we'll talk about it later, but at the end of the day, what happened was it was a deal that I couldn't refuse. It was a very good deal. I will probably... when I'm not using it, it will probably be on the market as a vacation spot or something. It has no blackout dates. 4,200 properties around the world. Yeah. So that was Tuesday. That took all day. Well, that kind of pissed me off. Not pissed off in a real, pissed off way, but they were like, oh, it'll be 90 minutes. And it literally ended up, all day. I didn't get done until, 7 in the evening. But they did give me a nice little limousine ride back to my hotel, so that was kind of nice and fancy. So Wednesday is when all the things happened, right, guys? That's where everything happened, so everything went down for the marble. So first, we're going to talk about the hop-on, hop-off bus. And if you're a tourist that ever really been anywhere, most big cities have them, right? And honestly, it is the best way to see the city, any city that you're in. When I went to San Antonio, I took the hop-on, hop-off. I drove to San Antonio because, I'm in Houston, so it's a quick little drive. But it was a good way to kind of see San Antonio, see all the hot spots, and things like that. So I would recommend that no matter where you are. I know they have they have one in London. I think Sydney, Australia has one. I'm trying to think of the places off the top of my head. I think there's one in Rome. So any major city you're in, if they have a hop on, hop off, Houston has one. I think I'm going to do it because I want to see what they show you in Houston. So I'm intrigued about that. And so y'all know I have my little slogan and my little initiative that's be a tourist in your city. So I think on one of my tourist days, I'm gonna do the hop on, hop off tour as well. But it's a great way to see the city. It pretty much is gonna drop you off at like where all the hot spots are, like most of the things that you want to see. And speaking of, one of the things that I wanted to see was the Mob Museum. Um, oh, one other thing about the hop on, hop off. When you buy a ticket, it's actually good for 2 days. So I used my ticket Wednesday and Thursday, and you can hop on and hop off as many times as you want. It's a great experience. Anyway, so one of the things that when I found out about this, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I gotta go do it. It's the Mob Museum, and I swear to y'all, for my friends that are listening, y'all know I posted the pictures from the Mob Museum, a couple of pictures. Again, I still didn't post a lot, but full disclosure, I'm slightly obsessed with mobs and mob culture, all that kind of stuff. I really do think I was a mobster in a former life. I really kind of run my kind of personal life like a mobster. Like, we friends. If that's my enemy, that's your enemy type of thing. I know it's pretty bad, y'all, but you know, what can a girl say? Y'all know I always kick it 100 with y'all. So anyway, boys and girls, let's talk about the Mob Museum. The Mob Museum was very, very cool. It talks about the history, like how the mob got started in America. They talked about some of the, the most famous kind of, little fights or whatever. They talked about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Of course, they talked about Prohibition. Of course, they talked about the mob's influence in Vegas. And I will say this. I think we've always known that the mob, played a part in, Vegas and the Strip and all that kind of stuff. I didn't realize how big the mob was, really, in Vegas. It was just my little piece of ignorance, but I did not realize how big it was. They had a couple of cool exhibits. I mean, not exhibits, but like little add-ons. One was like a distillery tour, where you also you got drinks and stuff like that. That was the one I signed up for. They also had like a crime lab thing. I forgot what the third one was, but they had 3. But it was really, really nice. Really very interesting. I will say it gets to be a little gory at times. They actually showed pictures like from crime scenes and like of murdered mobsters and things like that. So if you're a little squeamish, they do have a little door you can go out of that takes you back into the main hallway, and you can avoid all of that. But no, I stayed for the gore, baby. I saw every little piece. I mean, the mob don't play. When you are on their hit list, honey, you are on their hit list, love. And yeah, they play. Then they, of course, they talked about like what happens to former mobsters that are killed in the witness protection program or in jail. We probably all knew that. I didn't tell you a secret. So that was the one thing that I knew I wanted to do. But, so, that was Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday night is the real reason I was in Vegas, and that was for the Earth, Wind, and Fire concert. And what I was thinking about doing at some point during this podcast is like talk about the different types of tourists. Like some people are eco tourists, some people are nature tourists, some people are sports tourists, some people are concert tourists. So apparently I am a concert tourist. Didn't realize that at all. But when I found out that Earth, Wind, and Fire was touring, and I saw their locations, and I think I got like an alert in my Instagram that was like they're going to be in Vegas. Where? At the Venetian. So of course I was like, what better place to see the elements? I mean, it was a great experience. And even before I had the experience, I was like, that's going to be a really cool experience. Now, I've seen them perform probably 15 years ago in Houston with the Houston Symphony. Also a great experience. But this one was really, really cool. And what I will tell you, boys and girls, is that those 70-plus-year-old men performed for an hour and 40 minutes straight, no breaks, no intermissions, started promptly on time, gave you an hour and 40, walked off stage, came back, gave you an encore, and it was just really the best. And, I was sitting next to a couple, an older couple, probably my parents' age, not even probably, they were, because we talked about it, because the fellow was like do you even know who they are? Like, you look really, really young. This face looks young. This face looks 30, but the actual age is 46. And so I asked them how old they were. They were like 67 or something like that. I was like, you're my parents' age. They're like, yeah, I know who they are. I grew up listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. My birthday's in September, obviously, duh, one of my favorite songs. So if you're following me on my personal page, I did post a little snippet of September there. If you're not following me on my personal page, I have not updated cubicle_dweller with it. But the lights were amazing. The background was amazing. It was just a world-class show. It worth every penny. And I'm not even talking the ticket price of the show. I'm even saying worth every penny to fly into town, get a hotel, stay in Vegas to see this show. So, that's what I was actually in Vegas to do. And I decided, since I hadn't been to Vegas, I would build out a vacation around it. And no, would not go see my little niece. Although I missed her so much. I hated being that close to her. And I could have got a little kiss and a little hug, and she could have called me Aunt Cake. But that's another podcast, boys and girls, for another day. So, now we go to Thursday. And again, day 2 of using the hop on, hop off, which was great. Another thing that I love to do when I'm in any town and they have this, I love to visit wax museums. They kind of creep me out a little bit because they look so real. I'm expecting one of them to move. And my favorite thing that's going on right now with these Halloween animatronics is people like pretending to be one of the Halloween animatronics and then chasing people. Like, the wax museum should probably do that. Like, have somebody dressed as like just a regular person or something, and people think it's like the wax statue, and then they move or something like that. Like, I say that, but I'd be the one that like scream and fight them and pass out if that ever happened. Like, you might have like Shaq at his exhibit, and then he's standing really still, and then you like go to take a picture, like he jerks his arm around you or something. Yeah, I would probably fight Shaq, but okay. So anyway, that was thing 1 that I wanted to do. So yeah, I'm just always expecting them to move at like any moment, y'all. The epic fail, one of the things, I'm always disappointed about something, I think. The epic fail was Aaliyah. She was such a beautiful girl, and I know that they made the statue after she had passed on, because typically when they make the statues, the person is actually there. They take all the pictures and they do the measurements and things of that sort. See, so you slightly obsessed with some things, but hers was just really disappointing. I now post the pictures. I zoomed in on her face so you could see it, but I'll post them just like that, like the face and the full. Her exhibit was nice. It was really cute how they did it, but her face did not. No, her face card was declined. They did a terrible job with her. They had a statue of Evander Holyfield. I zoomed in on the ear, guys, because I wanted to see if they did it with like the little earpiece was missing, and it was. Again, I will also post that as well. And they also had Jimi Hendrix, and my dad was a huge Jimi Hendrix fan. So anytime I'm at a wax museum, I'm always going to take a picture of Jimi Hendrix in honor of my dad. I think he was alive when I went to the wax. Yeah, he was when I went to the wax museum in Montreal, and I took a picture of him and showed it to him, and he was just in awe. So it's kind of my thing that I do. It's just like a memory and a tribute to him. Is I gotta get a picture of Jimi Hendrix, guys. But here was the other cool thing at the wax museum. They had a 4D Avengers show, and I don't know if you guys have done the 4D. So you know the 3D is the things kind of pop out at you, where the 4D has like the sounds and the smells. Not the sounds, the movie's always in sound, right? But like the smells, or like if they go through like a pond, they'll have like little water droplets that'll hit you like you're splashing on the pond or something like that. And that was really cool. I don't know who had more fun, me or the kids that were in there at the same time. Because I was like, oh my God, look at that. Right along with the kiddos. So I was glad that I had an opportunity to experience that as well. What I will say is all of the staff that I encountered at the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum were simply amazing. And I want to shout out Lou, Trey, and Cassandra. I tagged the museum in this, so I don't even know. They might listen to it or they might hear it. But those three at the Luxor. Now, I've seen just about everything on King Tut. But, you know, as usual, it was a great exhibit as well. It was just exceptional. I jokingly said on my personal Facebook page that I saw replica Venice and I saw replica Egypt. And so I think those might be potential travel locations in the near future. The real places, not just the replica places. So I really pushed it, y'all, this day. I did a lot of stuff on Thursday because I'm not even done talking about it. So for the nightlife, guys, I treated myself to a helicopter tour of the Strip. Yep, me in a helicopter flying above the Strip. So were my nerves a little spent? Absolutely. Being in a helicopter is a little bit different from being in the airplane. And then the way they had us seated, guys, I was in the front seat right next to the pilot. So of course, I had the best tour. The best seat in the house. The views are epic. Again, not on the Instagram yet. It will be. Just give a girl like a day. It will be. But I made it through it though, even though it was a little, like, slightly nerve-wracking. It was actually the banking, guys. Like, when they turn those little corners and they bank, it's just really hard. But I did learn. I just want to go back because I'm going to post this picture of the MGM Grand. And it's green and gold at night. So if you know me, you know I'm going to tell you this little tidbit about why the MGM is green and gold. So they designed it to be green because they wanted to harken memories of the Wizard of Oz, right? And so apparently at the time the MGM was built, they actually had animatronics in the MGM of like the Wizard of Oz characters, and it also had like a yellow brick road. And then I think from what I heard, it was only around for like 6 or so years, and then they abandoned it. But at night, it is absolutely beautiful. The MGM in the daytime looks teal, which is really, I don't know how they get it to look green, but at night it literally does kind of look like the Emerald City. And then MGM across the top is in gold letters. But it was actually absolutely great. The views are spectacular. And then as he's coming in, guys, he kind of cuts through the casinos, which is really scary feeling. I mean, he's a trained pilot, but it's like different, right? So he's like cutting through. He's all like, "Oh, this is my favorite part of the tour, guys. When we're about to come back and land, and I'm gonna cut through the casinos." But obviously, you hear my voice, so we made it back safely, guys. Yeah, the view was so sick. If your nerves can handle it, I would recommend that you do it. So here's my assessment of Vegas, guys. So let me preface it by saying this. I know so many people who have been to Vegas, and their whole thing is just gambling. And I'm not a gambler, right? I'll probably spend my 100, get my 100 back, and I'm out. But there's really so much to do in Las Vegas. I think the best way to experience it, guys, is I think you have to have your kind of, and I'm not an itinerary girl. I used to be an itinerary girl. And then I stopped because I was cramming way too much into my travel, and I would still come back home and be really tired. Vacations are supposed to de-stress you and relax, and maybe you learn some stuff, and maybe you see some stuff that you've never seen. But you definitely should not come back and I need to recoup for 2 or 3 days. And the reason why I need to recoup for a couple of days is because I think I mentioned to you guys I had an accident. I'm still dealing with concussive symptoms, so I tire out really easily. And it kind of, if I'm really just pushing it, it takes me a couple of days to get back together. So that's why I need to do it. I really only did about 2 or 3 things a day honestly. And so that's what I would probably recommend. Like, if you're listening to me, if my opinion is that important to you about how you should experience Vegas, I would recommend that you have a couple things that you, like, your must-see things that you gotta see while you're there. Like, they also have an erotica museum. Obviously, you can't take videos or pictures in there, but I really wanted to see that, and I didn't get around to seeing that. But I will be back, Vegas. I will be a tourist in your city again, so it's definitely top of mind as one of the things I want to do. I also didn't go to, I think they got a bar, I forget what it's called, but everything in there is like frozen. The seats are like ice cubes and all that kind of stuff. So I think I want to do that as well. I didn't write the link, which is the big Ferris wheel. Oh, let me tell you guys one other thing. So there's a Ghost City pass on Groupon. Not affiliated. I'm not affiliated with Groupon. Not affiliated with Ghost City. Not affiliated with the city of Vegas. But you should definitely purchase the Ghost City pass and the 3-day pass, actually, because that one gives you like the helicopter ride or the Grand Canyon tour or some other big excursion in there for free as well. And so I really think by the time, if you do like 2 or 3 of those things, you have probably it's probably paid for itself with the pass. The King Tut exhibit, the hop on hop off, and the Madame Tussauds was included. The Mob Museum was not, and I opted for the 3-day pass, which got me the helicopter ride. So I think it still paid for itself, but that would be my recommendation. I would also recommend, I told you guys, you should do the hop on hop off tour, but if you really probably want to get to like a few different excursions like a little bit quicker, you should probably rent a car for like 2 days as well, or like a day or two or whatever. The hop on hop off from beginning to end is about an hour and a half. I'm sure you could probably get to a couple of different places, and it runs every 30 minutes, but I'm sure you could get to a couple of other places. Like, I could have left the Mob Museum and probably made my way to the Erotica Museum or something like that if I wasn't waiting on the hop on hop off. And I don't even know where to get off on the hop on hop off to go to the Erotica place, but it takes you like down the strip to Fremont, which is downtown, to the famous Las Vegas sign, like all of that kind of stuff, to Luxor and the Excalibur and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, it's a good way to see the city, but the kind of, not even in hindsight, I won't even say that because I still had a really good time, but for future, I'd probably rent a car for like a day or two to get around to some of the other things as well. Guys, I got so excited that I jumped ahead and I forgot to tell you about Friday. So Friday was the day I left. And so there's a really nice Indian buffet that is probably 10 minutes walk from Flamingo in Paradise, going away from the strip. Actually, I ate there on my first day too because that's where my hotel was and my room wasn't ready. So I was actually gonna go to this other place, and I love Indian food. Found a little restaurant, ate there. Food was good, price was right. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna start it and close it at the same place. So I had lunch there on my way leaving. Headed back to Houston. So here's what I want to tell you guys about heading home. So I get on my plane, get on my flight. I have a window seat. Apparently a couple who, after the whole brouhaha, said that they got married on that Monday. Somehow or other they weren't seated together. So the guy has an aisle seat, his wife has the aisle seat, and my seat. And he looks at me, like first he's talking to the girl that's in the row with him. It's like, do you want to like trade seats with my wife? And she's like, no, like she has a window seat too. I'm like, so he looks at me and he's like, can I offer you a window seat? And I'm like, no, you cannot. My thing is, I'm a paying customer, sir, just like you're a paying customer. I am sorry that you... At the time, I didn't even know that was his wife because he didn't say anything. The girl ended up saying something after he went and snitched to the flight attendant that nobody would move, and I still wasn't going to move. Anyway, a lady that was in the aisle seat across the aisle ended up trading with her, and then the person that was in the aisle seat... So, the person in front of me, window seat, he ended up switching seats with him, so he had the aisle seat. So they were just like a row apart at this point. Well, the lady who was across the aisle switched seats with her, and then the lady in the aisle seat with the husband switch seats with the chick so she could sit with her husband. Here's my thing, guys, and I don't feel bad about this. I'm just like, he probably should have started the story with like, we just got married, you want to sit together. There was an article I read probably a couple months ago, and they were talking about how people like really feel entitled to somebody's plane seat, right? Like, I'm sorry if they screwed up your little flight assignments or whatever, little seat assignments on your flight and everything. But guess what, boo? I paid for my seat just like you pay for your seat, right? I don't feel obligated to give up my seat. It's a 2.5 hour flight from Houston to Vegas. Y'all couldn't have sat apart for 2.5 hours. It was really very silly. But like other people kind of had, I want to say more pressing. It was like half the family was like split up or something, and they like harass people to like change their seats, and I don't think that's fair. I just, yeah, audacity must be on sale because people really be acting crazy. So why don't you guys tell me in the comments kind of how you feel about that? Do you think I handled it wrong? Should I have been a little nicer? I went to dinner with a friend of mine. I told him that even if the dude would have said like we just got married, I probably still wouldn't have gave up my seat. But I've been like, you know, might have felt a little raised about it or something. But it's my seat. I paid for it. I've been through hell and back. You don't understand what this vacation was to me. I'm glad y'all got married and you are happy about that. But like, I don't owe you my seat, sir, ma'am. So anyway, guys, that is how I experienced Vegas. Like I said, I had a really good time. It reminded me of when I went to DC. How, gosh, there's so many museums and so many different things. I'm a museum girl. I am that girl. So I do appreciate all of that. And you can't do it all. You can't do it all. I was there for 5 days. You can't do it all in 5 days. Like I said, you need to kind of have your top tier things. Like when you look on the Go City Pass, they'll tell you where a lot of escape room stuff, if escape room's your thing. There are a couple of night crawls. There are downtown tour, Fremont. I mean, just a bunch of different things. So you kind of figure out like what's important to you to experience and what experience you want to have. And I think it'll work out. But I do think you have to kind of pick some stuff. Like you gotta be like, okay, I can't leave Vegas without saying this. I mean, like I said, I got up, and here's the thing too, guys. I am not a morning person, and I got up kind of early so I could be like on the go to experience the things. Like for the Madame Tussauds, you gotta make a reservation, not for a time, you just gotta reserve the day. But I was in line when it opened at 10 o'clock, and yes, guys, there was a line at 10 o'clock to experience Madame Tussauds. So I just think you gotta do that. You definitely gotta do that. But I took the cab ride I took to the Venetian for the concert. The lady was like, she'd been in Vegas for 20 years, and she's like, I'm certain I haven't seen anything. I've seen everything. And I feel that way about Houston. I was born and raised here, and I can tell you there's some places I still haven't been. I won't tell you of those places because you might silently judge me for being a native Houstonian and not visiting those places. But yeah, I think you just gotta mark out, like I gotta hit, if I leave today, I gotta hit these 3 things. Like these are the things. Like, I think everybody has to go to the Strip, right? Like, if you're in Vegas, how do you not go to the Strip? And like I said, even just driving through, I'll go see the Venetian, but I love driving down the Strip. It's such a... Oh, God. I kind of want to... It just reminds me of a big old strip center. Like, I kind of want to say gaudy. So, y'all know I was a tourism director, and we had ordinance about, like, if somebody wanted to have an LED sign for their business, like, how bright it had to be and all that kind of stuff. Child, listen, Vegas was like devil may care because even in the daytime, those signs were lit up. On my way back from the helicopter tour, the bus that dropped me off, the little van pool went down the Strip, and so I got a couple of pictures of the Strip at night. I should have made that a priority as well, to like hit the Strip at night just for some quick photos or something. But the illumination at night is absolutely gorgeous, but it's gorgeous in the daytime too. But yeah, clearly Vegas does not have an ordinance about how bright those lights have to be. That's just the old little tourism director in me, guys. But I'm gonna wrap this up. I have took up about 35 minutes of your time. I am so glad you guys have decided to stick it out with me, and thank you guys so much for your listening ears. I hope every time I press record that you guys find something interesting, or you laugh, or you're entertained in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. So I'm gonna end this, guys. But as always, happy and safe travels, guys. Until next time. Oh, and my apologies for the sound quality. I'll have it all worked out by next time. Bye, guys.